What's good, people? I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned about how everybody allows the court systems to do what they're doing to us. If we did to the court systems what they do to us, don't you know that would be a crime? The kidnappings, the abuse, beatings, the coercion. Like if I was to kidnap somebody and make them sign a contract for them to agree to do something before I let them go, that would cost me probably the rest of my life behind bars. And that's what these jails and courts are doing. You know, you're supposed to be able to be innocent till proven guilty. These courts are getting to the point to where they will falsify documents so that you would not receive court dates, so that they can bring you back on the FTA. They do that because an FTA has no bond. So if you're sitting in jail with no bond and they bring you the court and they got you sitting in a holding cell and they bring your public defender, the one that's not there to protect you, the one that's there to protect the public, they bring him in and they send him back there to talk to you. What do you plead? All right, you're going to plead not guilty. All right, guess what? He goes back in front of the judge. Hey, man, he's pleading not guilty, you know what I'm saying? So guess what? Your ass is going back to the jail. You're not finna go in front of that judge. They don't want to hear that not guilty shit. They don't want to hear that. They're going to keep sending you back to the jail until that public defender tells them that, hey, I got him to plead guilty. He's going to accept the plea. All right? Once you get to that point, they will bring you in front of the judge. Now, that is coercion. That's basically, if you don't agree with us, we'll just make you sit. Not only that, they'll torture your ass too. They torture you. Oh yeah, you missing your lunch, you missing your dinner. All you gonna have that day is a sandwich, some orange juice, and I think they give you like a little cookie or something. But you're getting that at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're gonna be at the courthouse all fucking day. Yeah. And guess who's paying for all that shit? Your tax dollars are paying for these people to be going back and forth to the jail, to the courthouse, back and forth. What we call dry runs. It's definitely a dry run because you're not going before that judge. It's a way to intimidate you and try to break you. Not only that, they will put you in solitary confinement. Several times they had me locked up in the holding cell in handcuffs, crisscrossed, like straitjacket type. Like I'm got my hands like that, handcuffed to my waist. So they put you in uncomfortable situations. It's just so much that they do that I believe is illegal and it shouldn't be done. The way they treat you in the jails, one administered shots on you and shit when they claim that you're acting up or whatnot. I have the right to yell as much as I want, especially if you got me in a cell by myself. I can say what the fuck I want in that motherfucker. Who am I, like, you can go home, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not, I don't give a fuck about aggravating your ass. You know what I'm saying? You're going home. You go home every day. I'm the one that's gonna be in this cell all day long. So all them threats with putting medication in me and all that bullshit, and I think they actually done it, because one time, I don't even remember shit. I got pulled out of my cell one day because I asked for some toilet paper. All right. So Sergeant come over there. He said, what, excuse me, you want some what? I said, can I please have some toilet paper? I've asked the other guard earlier, like a couple of times. He ain't brought it. It's been about 2-3 hours, and I've been needing this shit. He said, I don't believe this. I'm over here handling an emergency, and you call me over here for some goddamn toilet paper? Get your ass up against the wall. And he pulls out his fucking taser. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, bro, all I did was, get your ass against the wall. So now I'm like, okay, like, what the fuck did I do? Got up against the wall. About 8 more motherfucking officers came in there and beat my motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? Over some goddamn toilet paper. I asked for some fucking toilet paper. And then they gonna take me up out of the cell, take my arm, got me behind my back, but had it all the way up and almost around like that, man. The shit was crazy. And then wanting to bang my head up against the motherfucking door as to open the door and shit like that, man. Just like unnecessary shit. And then they really got mad when I didn't resist none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you act like none of this shit hurt. Sir, it does hurt, but I already know what you guys trying to do. And he got mad. They got mad. They got mad because I wouldn't fall into their game. They wanted to motherfucking do worse. They wanted to do worse, and they tried to provoke me, and I took the pain like a champ. Like the champ that I am, you motherfuckers. So fuck you guys. And see, I remember how each and every one of these motherfuckers look. So I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a whole nother situation out here on these streets. Whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? Also, and nah, that ain't no motherfucking threat either. You can take it how you want to take it. You know what I'm saying? I already know how y'all is. Y'all done already sent a subpoena already for a terroristic threat. Dumb motherfuckers. Y'all need to learn what a terroristic threat is. You know what I'm saying? Learn that. You know what I'm saying? When a motherfucker have intentions on following through with some shit, you know what I'm saying? That's a terroristic threat. Now, I ain't put no fear in nobody. And what I'm talking about is basically just how you motherfuckers did me wrong. You know what I'm saying? So fuck what y'all talking about. Man. But during that situation, they put me in a motherfucking cell after, and I remember the nurse coming in to cut the handcuffs off me because they put the handcuffs too tight. And that's all I remember. I remember waking up thinking that was been about an hour or two. And I'm like, why I feel like this? So the same officer comes in. You ready to go back home? I'm like, where's home? Back to the housing unit. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. So keep in mind, I'm shackled. They after they cut them handcuffs on me, they had new handcuffs on me because I was still shackled up and I still had handcuffs. And I'm thinking my handcuffs was too much shackles. I can't remember. But I do remember it felt like it was a couple hours. So we get back to my housing unit. And I start walking towards my cell. Oh, no, that ain't your cell no more. You're over here now. So now I'm like, what the hell? So I looked in the cell. All my shit gone. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother inmate in there. Never seen him before. Looked like he's been there for weeks. Shit on the wall. I'm like, what the fuck? So, okay, now I'm questioning, like, well, damn, how long was I over here in this cell? So, they brought me back into the cell, which they say was mine, and I get in there and I look. I swear to God, I can't make this shit up. You had fresh feces all over the wall, all on the sink where you drink at, and all on the motherfucking floor. Everywhere. It's like, bruh, you couldn't even lean up against the wall without getting shit on you. Bruh, the shit was crazy. And it looks fresh than a motherfucker. Like they just, like that shit just been put there. You know what I'm saying? And I look at the bed. Now, the bed, it's got a place where you put your mat down. So it's kind of deep to hold the mat. That shit was filled with urine. Urine and shit. Bruh, I was disgusted. I couldn't believe this shit. I'm like, man, what the fuck did I do? You know what I'm saying? All over some damn toilet paper. All I did was ask for some toilet paper. So, you know, this how dirty these motherfuckers are. You know what I'm saying? And shit crazy, man. That was like the third time they did that shit. You know, the first time was when I first got there. I had to spend like 3-4 days in the cell, and it went for I think officer. I want to say it was Officer Walker. He the one that brought me up out of there, put me in another cell. You know, because he had to come in there and get something for me one day, and he couldn't even take this. Man, he was like, man, what the? And he couldn't take that shit. And he pulled me out of there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was him or not, but I'm thinking it was Walk or something like that. But shit crazy though. I think they shot me with a needle when they was taking them handcuffs off. That shit was that's probably how they do the shit. You got so much pain in your hand for them trying to take the handcuffs off, trying to cut the motherfuckers with a goddamn lock cutter, bolt cutter, or whatnot. And at the same time, the nurse there sticking me with the needle, so I don't even feel the needle. That's what I think happened. I don't know if that's what happened, but it sure makes sense. Sure makes sense. Or I could have just been there for a couple hours and the person who was in that room shitted all over the place, and they moved him out of that room into my room and brought me back into that shit. Those are the only two reasonable shits that I can think of. And I say shits because that's what it was. It was a bunch of shit. Swear to God. Cobb County, Georgia. Cobb County Jail. I shouldn't even have been there. Judge Grubbs, she shouldn't even have handled the case. It was a conflict of interest. You know, her and the victim knew each other, did business with each other, and had her property at the time she was handling my case. Meaning, Judge Grubbs' property was on my victim's property at the time she was handling my case. If that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. Also, Judge Grubbs also had the opportunity to give me another court date for missing the court date. because I wasn't notified. I wasn't notified because of their fuck up, because of their officer falsified documents on purpose so that I would miss the courts. By the officer falsifying those documents were sent to the courthouse. They was also sent to the building, the bail bonds. You know what I'm saying? So when I got bonded out, he had the same information the courts had. All right. So not only was the judge wrong for that, the detective was wrong for that. The detective was wrong for actually falsifying the address and everything else that he did to sabotage my case. My case was definitely sabotaged, and it was I was definitely railroaded. My public defender that they illegally linked me up with, because they gave me papers asking me if I want a public defender, and I refused, said I would defend myself. You can't speak for yourself if you got a public defender. You can only do that when you're defending yourself. So they ignored my requests and stuck me with a public defender, which never turned in none of my letters or evidence or anything that I tried to submit to the courts. Also, the jails, same thing. When I've tried to get legal copies and stuff filed into the courts while I was at the jail, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't. They wouldn't allow me to do it. They said, we don't do that no more. What you mean we don't do that? So right now you're denying me my Sixth Amendment right. My Sixth Amendment right grants me the right to act as an attorney. And it grants you guys the duty to give me access to the things I need to either file my papers into court or prepare my case, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I was denied access to legal. I was denied access to phones. I could not use the phone. They issue you a PIN to use your phone. I was never issued a PIN. They would not issue me one. What else? I said the judge. My public defender. All right, I notified my public defender in July or either August, letting him know that I had bounty hunters that was looking for me. And how did I know bounty hunters was looking for me? I'm walking from the store, headed to my homeboy house. You know what I'm saying? And this red truck pulls up, and two guys jumped out, two white dudes, badge, and grabbed me. And then I'm like, well, what the fuck? It was like, we sorry, we're looking for this guy, Mr. Champion, Robert Champion, we thought you was him. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I didn't say I wasn't, I didn't say I was, I just, okay, they let me go, walked in the house, told my homeboy, hey man, these motherfuckers out here talking about they looking for me, he ain't believe me, he went out there and asked him, so he found out it was the bail bondsman. Bomb. I called my public defender. You know what I'm saying? My public defender was trying to find out where I was and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? So now I already know he's against me now. So now I'm playing stupid with his ass. You know, nah, I'm not giving you no information where I'm at right now. Had him thinking I was somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I also asked him to see if we can get the court date reset. Whatnot. When I called back, he tell me that the district attorney, which was Rick Reynolds at the time, say that I got to turn myself in. You know what I'm saying? Now they know that I wasn't notified. You know, they know that I didn't even get the notification. They know it was returned. It's on file return. So they know that I'm not lying about the situation. So basically, they want me to lose out on my $3,000 that I paid. My bond was $2,500, but since I didn't have no co-signer or any of that, you know what I'm saying, I had to pay the full bond to get out. So I paid a bail bondman $2,500 plus 300 to get me up out of there. So it was a total of it was a total of almost 3,000. So as a matter of fact, it was $1. One more dollar would have been 3,000. So I get up out of there. I realize that, yo, this is not my address. And I tell the guy, I said, look, I don't know who address this is, but this ain't my address. Oh, ain't nothing we can do about it. Bro, what you mean ain't nothing we can do about this? I'm still here, bro. Like, y'all ain't released me out them doors yet, bro. You know, like, that's not my address. And we need to clear this shit up now because I'm not going to get notified for court, bro. Oh, we're not changing nothing. I'm like, for real. So I called my public defender, let him know. Hey, man, they just gave me some bogus ass address that they sent in my court date to. Oh, man, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get notified before you. You know, I'll notify you. Is your number still the same or whatnot? I gave him my phone number. I was like, yeah, this number never going to change. Bruh, how about these motherfuckers had a court date without me knowing? Public defender didn't notify me, none of that shit. He claimed that he wasn't notified, which I believe he was. And the reason I believe he was because I found some more documents on another court date that I missed after that. Which means he could have told me that, look, hey, yo, you can come in on the 24th of November. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't tell me that. So I believe he set me up. He knew that I had another court date. And instead of him telling me to come to that court date, the motherfucker just told me I got to turn myself in. So now I missed that court date. And that court date was something called an absolute judgment, where I would come in and give a reason why my bond shouldn't be forfeited or some shit like that. You know, it was like they really tried to fucking railroad me, bro. And this shit crazy, man. And now they trying to have I shouldn't even talk about it. Just they still trying to fuck me over, man. They still trying to fuck me over. So I wind up going back to jail on that, man. And 3 more charges I got hit with. Got hit with bail jumping, out-of-state bail jumping, and failure to appear. Now, you don't get no bond on any of those. So their intentions was to bring me back to the jail to where I would have to fight my case in jail so that they can torture me and coerce me into pleading guilty. That was their agenda from the beginning. And I can imagine how many other people they done this to. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of corruption going on in Cobb County. And I believe they're targeting me right now because I will not allow them to do the things that they are trying to do to me. You know, they realize they got a fighter here. They realize that, yo, this guy is no dummy. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, or they probably do. You know, I went to school for criminal justice. You know what I'm saying? I know what they're supposed to be doing. I know what they're not supposed to be doing. And what they are doing is corrupt in a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I should have got a job in internal affairs. You know what I'm saying? That's what I should have did. That's what I went to school for. And I should have fell through. But, you know how the system is. They try to get you caught up in a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? To keep you from accomplishing your goals. You know, once they see what you're studying and all this and that, no. We got to stop this nigga. We got to stop this nigga. But the thing about it is you can't stop a nigga now when you got the motherfucking internet. You know, I study every day, you know what I'm saying? You know, every motherfucking day. Yeah. You should be doing the same thing, you know what I'm saying? First thing y'all need to do is learn y'all rights. You know, learn your rights, start exercising your rights. Because we're getting to the point to where rights don't even exist no more. And the reason they're starting to not exist no more is because nobody's exercising them. You know what I'm saying? Stop entering into all these contracts. Yeah. These contracts. Stop entering into those contracts. You know, if you don't know that your driver's license and registration and all that are contracts, you know, you need to learn. You know, learn how to deal with that with you already having them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I don't have none of that saying. I'm just saying if I'm not permitted to present it, it's not getting presented. Meaning, if you don't have a valid charge for me, there's no sense in me even presenting that because it's evidence of a contract. And, you know, as long as I'm doing business, I'm not contracting. And I'm only contracting with people I'm doing business with. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that when I sign my papers at the probation office, I don't give them no address or any of that. Address stuff, the legal meaning of address is business. You know what I'm saying? So you're asking me where's my place of business? Mobile. I don't know, man. It's just a lot of shit going on, man. They don't like the fact that I'm not complying with anything. And I will not comply. I repeat, I will not comply. I will only comply with lawful orders. That's the only thing. Anything else, everything y'all doing is illegal and corrupt. And I don't consent to it. I don't consent to any of this. And I told you guys from the beginning, when y'all first drug me out the courtroom. Yeah, my first appearance, you guys drugged me out the fucking courtroom. Because I told you guys I didn't understand the charges. And I had a few questions that may help me understand these charges. And my first question, y'all drugged me out the courtroom talking about you didn't have time for this. You didn't have time to do your job. It's what you told me. Yeah. Okay. I'm done.